Hello, my name is Nikita L. Abbott Kamel, and today we will discuss how to build credit and how to build good habits to build good credit scores. Now, my first question to you will be, what is credit? A quick definition of that is credit is a customer's ability to get a good or service before payment is made based off a promise of a future payment. And let's just give you a quick example of that. Okay, the first example would be a friend of you come to you and ask to borrow $100 based off promising to pay you 1 month from that day that they borrow it. That's one example. Another example is a computer technician comes to your home and he does some repairs for you, and you promise to pay him within 30 days of that service being performed for you. That's another one. That is credit. So these examples are explaining credit, and the thing I need you to take out of this is that something is being given before the payment is made. This is credit. Now, there are 3 credit reporting agencies. These agencies are agencies that keep track and of reports of creditors when they give you ratings, or I would say reports based off your payment history to them. The first one is Experian, the second one is Equifax, and the third one is TransUnion. You should monitor the reporting agencies consistently, just if in case there are any discrepancies. You should be able to take care of those in advance. You do not want to wait until time has passed and then you want to try and fix this, and it just takes a little bit more time and effort versus you monitoring it on a regular basis. You will be able to catch that discrepancy that you have of that report that has come from that lender and correct it as quick as possible. Now, one way to build your credit, and this is for those who have no credit at all and you'd like to start building your credit, a secured credit card would be the first route I would suggest that you go. And what this is you securing a card at your bank or your credit union. You put up a certain amount of money. They then take that money from you and they place it in a secured savings account. And what you'll do is they will extend credit to you on a credit card, but it is secured with that money that you have given them. And that starts the whole process of credit for you. Now, I would suggest this because it's an easy way. You may have to save a few dollars, but you determine how much credit will be extended to you based off the amount of money that you give the company. Now, how long does it take to build your credit? A rule of thumb is 12 months. 12 months of paying on time, of course. Also, it gives a history longer than 6 months. 1 year, that's 12 payments of paying on time, and that will be reported and will boost your credit scores, as well as let other lenders know that, hey, for 12 months on this person, that they have paid us on time. So you're establishing yourself. They will report to one of those 3 or all 3 of those bureaus that were mentioned, Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion, and they will show them each month on a monthly basis if you've paid on time or if you were late. So, you want to make sure that you pay on time because this is very important, especially when you're trying to build your credit. But it's also important if you are trying to maintain good credit. Pay your payments on time. The minimum payment that's due, that's all that's required. Make sure it gets to them on time. Now, building good habits to build your credit scores, this is one of those things that play into that. Paying your payments on time really is important, and I keep stressing this because it is a part of building your credit, and it does plays a part in the long run of creditors extending credit to you if you want that. So you want to make sure that you pay those payments on time. Another thing that you want to keep in mind when trying to build credit or maintain good credit is you never want to max out your cards. I would say that 30% is recommended. However, if you have to use more than 30% of that credit line, then I would say just don't go over 50%, because 50% shows creditors who's also monitoring your report. But not only that, the creditor who has given you that amount of credit or extended credit to you, it shows them that you know how to manage your credit. It shows them that you are good at making sound financial decisions and that you're not stumbling here when it comes to making those type of decisions, and that you know how to manage your money, your finances very well. Another thing that you want to keep in mind when building credit or maintaining good credit is to avoid opening so many accounts at one time. When you are trying to build credit, you want to make sure that you are building this at a gradual amount of time, because opening too many accounts can drag your credit score down. And you just don't want to show that. It's not good when you're trying to build credit or maintain good credit. It shows creditors who are looking to extend you credit in the future that this person understands credit. They understand that, hey, they don't need to open so many accounts so fast, and that they are very responsible when it comes to making sound financial decisions. So take your time. I would say 10 to 12 months is a good enough time for you to open another account. Open these accounts gradually. So for those who don't have credit and they're trying to build credit, start with your secured card. Keep that about 12 months. Then try to open you a small line of credit or something like that. You want to take your time with doing this. The more you take your time, the more creditors look at you as a responsible individual and someone who knows how to manage their finances and manage their credit lines. Another thing that you want to keep in mind when building credit, or as I said, someone who's trying to maintain good credit, is you want to always make sure you keep your accounts open as long as possible. I found this out working in the banking industry. It is much better to keep an account open versus close it. I never would have thought that. At this time when I was in there in the banking industry, I had a couple of accounts that I was not using. And I found out through this training that it is much better to keep those accounts open, because it shows creditors, other creditors, that not only do you know that you have this credit available to you, but you're financially responsible enough to know that although I have this credit available, I'm not going to use it because I don't need to use it at this time. So not only that, it also shows a long-term commitment that you have made. So it gives them a history. It gives them a history of credit for you. But not only that, they see that this history has been long-term, and although they have it available to them, they have been managed this pretty well for themselves. Now, lastly, when I say monitor your credit reports on a consistent basis, I really mean you have to do this. Inconsistencies can happen. We are human. We make mistakes. They can happen at any time without our knowledge. But if you are keeping track and monitoring your credit report on a consistent basis, and when I say consistent, I don't mean you need to check it every day or every week. You know, I would say at least every 3 months, check your credit report to check for inconsistencies. If you know that you've made payments on time and you've been reported late, then that's something that you can address in a timely fashion, you can address this, and you can call your company or the lender in which who reported you incorrectly, and you can correct this thing very fast. And I'm sure they will work with you and help you resolve the issue. So monitoring your credit is very important, and it's to catch those discrepancies that you may have. Another good thing is monitoring it online. If there's a discrepancy, you can file these things online with the credit bureaus. They do have that option now, which is a great option. I encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Now, before we end, there's one thing that I would like to say. And because people get the misconception that building credit happens overnight. Building credit does not happen overnight. It is a process. It takes time for you to establish the type of credit that you want to see. It's going to be based off good decisions that you make, good payment history, the amount of time that it takes you to open new accounts or extend more credit to yourself. You don't want to open too many accounts too fast. All of these things play into building good credit and building good credit scores, or maintaining good credit scores. So think about that. Think about the decisions that you are going to make. Like I said, it is a long process. It's one of those things where building credit is not easy, but making the wrong financial decision or decisions based off, extending credit to yourself, your credit can impact your credit in a negative way. So you want to be careful when you do this, and you want to build good habits for yourself. Never spend over 50%, and that's only if you absolutely need it. If you do not need it, the lower this percentage is that you use, the better it is for your credit rating and for you too, because you don't want to extend yourself to so much debt at one time. You want to keep your obligations to a minimum. So, keep these things. Always maintain good habits. Maintaining good habits will always get you to where you want to be, especially in the world of credit. So, having said all of that, if there is any questions, feel free to ask. But my name is Nikita Al Abbott Kamel, and this concludes us talking about how to build credit and how to build good credit habits for good credit scores. I wish you well on your journey in the world of credit. Thank you.